meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilwoman Schott, would you please lead us in prayer?
Heavenly Father, you've entrusted us to be the stewards of our community. We ask that you guide our hearts and minds as we make decisions that will affect every one of our residents. We ask that you bless our community with peace and prosperity, and ask that we will always be mindful of the needs of our residents. Please protect our police department, fire department, and our employees as they perform their duty. And Father, we also ask you bless all the members of our military, past and present, and we thank you for giving them the courage to serve. We pray that you will protect them and return them safely home. In Jesus' name, amen.
You can see Councilman McKinney is absent tonight.
Motion. Second.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thayer?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
Motion for the minutes.
So moved. Second.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thayer?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yeah.
And Schott?
Yes.
Bills.
Motion.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thayer?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yeah.
And Schott?
Yes.
Hourly workers' time report. Fireman's time.
Motion. Second.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thayer?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yeah.
And Schott?
Yes.
You want me to sign this since he's not here, or just somebody council can sign it?
You can sign
When you're ready, it's all yours.
We received two thank yous in the mail. We received a thank you from the Community Hospice in memory of Robert Witter. And we received a thank you from employee Kathy Matheny. We had sent her a planner after she returned home from a hospital visit. I've begun the 2020 budget. And I've also begun to work on researching interest rates for a new vehicle for the police department. Right now, Apple Creek told me today they've got the rate of 3.9%. Unified Bank in Strasburg, theirs is 3.11%. I am waiting on to hear if they vote through the Brewster Credit Union to see if they'll do a municipal rate for us. And also, Wacom Ford's checking on what Chief Guy talked about, where they had the lease with option to buy, to see what kind of rate they're gonna offer on that. We have one piece of legislation. It's resolution number 1909. This is a corrected resolution of the verbiage listed under, I believe, the area where the residents vote. It'd be a resolution to proceed with the levy of a property tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for fire and EMS purposes, and to submit the question of the tax to the electors at the November 5th, 2019 election.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thayer?
Yes.
Hartman?
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
And Schott?
Yes.
Motion to pass. Second.
Bennett,
Yes.
Fair,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
and Shutt.
Yes.
And thank you, that's all I have.
Very good. Tonight we have a couple gentlemen here from the Stark County Treasurer's Office. We have Mr. Jim Wallace and Mr. Alexander Zumbar. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Zumbar.
Zumbar,
That's
okay.
Zoom, that's fine.
And they want to explain, and I actually looked this program over, and this is, it's quite a program. So, gentlemen?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening to talk to you about the Stark County Commissioners approved and authorized program called the Fix It Fund Program. It is a program that is going to be run through the Stark County Treasurer's Office and our linked deposits program with the 3 various banks that have decided to participate with us on this project. This is a 5-year Fix It Fund program that is designed to allow homeowners in Stark County the opportunity, if they qualify, to receive up to 2% off a loan. And the loan has a minimum amount of $5,000 up to a maximum amount of $50,000 to help them repair projects inside or outside their home. And as you follow along with me in the program, what the repairs that the money could be expended on, there are some possible improvements. So for instance, they may want to put an addition on the home. They want to put awnings. They may want to put patios, sidewalks, driveways. They might want to redo the kitchen, remodel a bathroom, redo the floors in their home. Those are all qualifiers. They may want to put downspouts, new gutters, fix water lines, sewer lines, gas lines, even potentially septic line. You can replace that with a sewer line. You can do that. Those are all allowable projects. Interior projects such as air conditioning, attic remodel, basement remodel, plumbing, lighting, painting, security systems, skylights. Well, those are all qualifying projects. But there are some also disqualifying projects, such as a swimming pool or a hot tub. So Attorney Babick would not be able to use those as his potential qualifying
He'd
project.
find a way around it.
No, we stopped. I mentioned there are 3 banks that are participating with Stark County in this project. They are Westfield Bank, First Commonwealth, and Farmers National Bank. You do not have to be a member or utilize any of those banks. We are the depository agent with those banks, and by that virtue, you are allowed to pick one of those banks to potentially see if you qualify for this project. There is no income threshold level testing. That's an important aspect. It doesn't matter what your income is. The 2 qualifying aspects are very simply this. You must be, in terms of Stark County, current on your real estate taxes. That's the number 1. Number 2, you must have a home of a value, according to Stark County Auditor's valuation, of $250,000 or less, building value only. Once we check those, that's what Mr. Wallace, Deputy Treasurer here, is going to do, because he runs the program out of our office. Once he determines that information, he then passes you on to the bank of your choice, those 3 banks, one of those 3 banks. You are then, it's up to your credit worthiness, not your income level threshold there. And again, minimum 5,000, maximum 50. You may have to bundle 2 or 3 of these projects if you're looking at that for your home. Get those estimates, get those quotes, put it in your application, and you move on through the credit check with the bank. The bank ultimately at that point in time is going to tell you whether or not you qualify for the loan, and eventually exactly how much percentage you could get off on that loan. So up to 2 points is what they have agreed to with this program. Mr. Wallace's contact information is on the back, as well as the contact information for each one of those banks, and the representative is within this brochure. What we're asking of you folks as a favor would be to link your home website with our Stark County Treasurer website, specifically the Fix It Fund program. If you go to the Stark County Treasurer website, you'll find all the information that I've discussed here tonight, as well as the application, so the folks can easily get this information that we have talked to you this evening about. Are there any questions?
Is this a totally unsecured loan?
No, it's not. You'll probably end up using your home as probably the collateral or the security, and that's probably what they're going to look at when they do their credit worthiness check. The program does have a window. It does run from April 1st through July 31st of each year. This was the inaugural year, the first year. So it'll run again next year. We've had about 166 interested parties so far apply. They're now at that point in time with checking with the bank if they've qualified through our two qualifiers. That means they're current on the real estate taxes and they've met the $250,000 or less valuation. There are chances that these folks may not ultimately, even though they qualify with us, their credit score may not be good enough because the bank is going to run them through their credit check and their credit application. There's a debt to equity ratio that they're looking at.
Do you go back out after they get this loan, since they had to go through you to begin with, and reevaluate their property, by the way, so the taxes can go up?
Well, at the end of the day, this is what the program is looking to do. Number one, we're trying to help improve the community and certainly help improve Stark County. And by doing that, by actually having folks redo specific projects in their home, in the interior or exterior, that does add value to the home. And the auditor is going to probably see that these permits were pulled, and we're gonna make him aware of that fact. And they will then take a look and take into account that information and exactly how much that valuation is. And is it something that the auditor is gonna capture? More than likely he will, he may not, it just depends. The other piece is you have up to 1 year to expend the funds once you have been approved by the bank. So, say it's July 31st, you've gotten approved, you have up to 1 year to expend those funds by the bank.
So you don't have to approve the people, they get to do the job then?
No, that is, they can even do the work themselves if they're a qualified contractor. They do have to, however, meet specific community, building and code enforcement. Yep, and the Stark County, Building Department is generally one of the, folks that oversees a lot of this work and will be looking at these permits because they have to be pulled. Mr. Babick, have I said anything that you do not approve of? as your county
Absolutely not,
commissioner?
no.
Pretty easy when I got a little manual in front of me.
Very much so, yes.
He's our attorney, so he does a good job for us, so, especially the treasurer's office. Yes, ma'am.
I just have one question, and in case they come through and ask me.
Mhm.
Normally, if they do a job within the corporation, they don't go to Stark County to get permits. So
Right.
because of this, we're gonna tell them, you've got to do it. You see-
Really? You don't have a permitting process down here?
Well, we do, but not like what you have.
Okay.
We
got
don't
one
know-
for
we don't
flood
know.
control.
We would certainly want to encourage them to speak with the building department, in Stark County specifically.
They have to.
Kavanaugh. You want to make sure that you capture these permits from the standpoint that you know that, number one, there's a good qualified contractor. Number two, you know the work's going to be done, it's going to be done properly. Number three, if it's going to be the individual that's doing the work, are they certified to do electrical work? Are they certified to do plumbing? These are all very important aspects. You don't want to have somebody hooking plumbing into a water line or
So
something
can we
else.
encourage them or tell them they must go through Stark County?
That's-
Will you issue the permits for them?
Stark County will probably look at that, and I'll have to defer to the building department. But if you have total control down here, that's a whole different aspect because it is a corporate, that is a corporate permission. I don't have a say-so over the corporation. But if you direct them to Angie, I'm sure that she can give the correct answer. And if they don't have to pull them, I'd be shocked. That's something that you folks may.
Well, I don't think you do.
Yeah.
That's why,
Yeah.
I know how it's worked for years around here.
Who handles your codes down here, code enforcement? You? No.
Nobody,
Nope. Chief of police.
nobody.
We do issue a
Nobody.
building permit outside the house itself. If you do anything good outside, then we issue a building permit.
But they would
But-
never know about the interior.
No,
You know?
because it's part of the flood control thing that we had to do this.
Really?
That's the only reason we got it.
Well, I'm gonna defer to Mr. Babick, he's gonna probably give you some good answers.
That is
Would the bank maybe require that? I mean, would the bank say, even though you guys don't have to have permits, in order for us to give you this money, to lend you this money, you must comply with Stark County's permits. Do they have the right to do that?
No.
It's gonna be
They
a
do
fine
not.
line, I'll tell you that.
They do not. It has to be the subdivisions
Codes and
allowances.
rules and regs.
The rules and regulations at the end of the day. And the county cannot trump a corporation if they have them in place. And even if they don't have them in place, I don't believe the county can over trump a corporation. Very difficult for the county to say to a city, you must do it our way, unless they have contracted with the county. What the council and the mayor could do is they could say, associated with the program, you could pass a resolution that you're encouraging them to use the Stark County building department and pay all applicable fees, but,
No,
you know,
we ain't doing that.
Why?
I want,
If someone can qualify for the loan and they want the loan, what would it hurt?
are you talking just for one individual? Is that what you're talking about now?
I don't care how much, whether it's 1 or 10, you wanna give them the opportunity to make their home better, and that the county's offering the program, why would you deny them that? Because you don't wanna pass a resolution for this specific project?
That's-
You pass resolutions for stupider things.
I know that. But that's the reason we don't have zoning in this town,
And that's a shame.
because we get away with it.
That's a shame.
Okay, that's your thing, not mine.
so anyways, we'll let you folks determine that correct method. And from our standpoint, what we're gonna look at is, number one, if you met our two qualifiers from the treasurer's standpoint, once you meet those two with us, we pass you along to the bank. And that's your choice of which of those three banks you decide to go with. And beyond that, I really, like I said, it's up to the local subdivisions regulations and its rules as to the permitting. And most of the folks, the townships, villages, will fall underneath the county. Underneath the city, however, it's generally underneath the city's rules and regulations. And I do not have to say so over that. But what we do ask though is you keep your receipts, because you will ultimately be responsible to submit those back to Mr. Wallace. He's gonna make sure that indeed this amount of money was expended. Here are the correct expenditures and the qualifying documentation that supports that expenditure. And we keep that on file, and of course, as to what you were saying earlier, more than likely that information will be passed along to the county auditor, because we wanna make sure that we capture that value, because otherwise, what we're doing here, we do need to get a return on our investment. I am foregoing the interest that I could earn on the money that we have been authorized to set aside for this link deposit program by the county commissioners. And as such, by foregoing that interest that we could earn at the county.
I think it's a great program.
Yeah.
I disagree on a couple of little things, but other than that, it's a good program.
And you guys can tweak it as much as you need to make it work for you. But we're here to just tell you about it. The county commissioners authorized us to do it, and I'm the harbinger of the wonderful program.
And you got to learn a few things just by coming here anyway.
Hey, we like Beach City. Beautiful area.
I told him I already sent him my check for the taxes.
Haven't got Mr. Babish yet, though.
Pretty sure it was paid.
The last day, huh?
You got till July 17th.
Just for
You got time, you got time.
He's gonna check now. He's like, man, I better muck it up.
My name will be in the paper.
Yeah, you're gonna leave and your car will be gone.
calling me out of the record.
Thank you very much, Council and Mayor.
Thank you,
Appreciate it,
gentlemen.
members of administration. Thank
Thank
you all
you.
for listening.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Yep.
Good
Can I
seeing
ask you guys a question?
Sure. If the council permits it.
Well, what do you know about land patents?
What do I know about a land patent? I probably am not the correct man to ask that
Okay,
question.
good enough.
We'll defer to Mr. Babbitt, legal counsel. I defer a lot to Mr. Babbitt.
I appreciate that.
I'm probably one of those rare county officials that actually will send things to the prosecutor, because I'm not the attorney, right? I know my role and I know my function.
And that's good.
And you do a very good job.
Well, thank you, sir. Everybody have a great evening.
Okay,
Thank you all very
good
much.
evening, Thank you.
Take care. I like your hat.
I don't understand, what do you see as would be detrimental to the village if we let them do the permits?
Because they'll wiggle their way in here for more. Navarre's in the process right now, maybe getting Masson to do their permit stuff. Brewster's already did it. I wouldn't want Masson around here telling us what we can do.
Well, you're always faced with the possibility one of these days Columbus will start it.
You're probably right, Gene.
And it probably would be worse having Columbus tell you than if we did it ourselves. I mean, I don't see where, what do they have to gain, you know? If the citizens in this village, residents, can take advantage of this program and that, like Debbie said, who cares?
Hey, I want them to take care of it, nothing wrong with that. But it's too close to zoning that I can see that could happen, and I don't like that.
Well, you do realize that there is a major opinion that the fact we don't have zoning is the reason this village is in the shape that it is. Because who wants to come in here and spend the money to open a business on the pretext or possibility that next year you're gonna have on the ballot to zone the place and you happen to be in the wrong place? Now, are you gonna be grandfathered in since you were already there, or do you shut down and move? Personally, I'm all for zoning. I think not having zoning has really adversely affected.
Well, the
us.
voters put it down 78% at one time.
Well, maybe the voters didn't understand what they were doing.
That was the second time it happened.
And how has Bee City changed in the last two times?
It's never changed in the last 70 years.
No, as far as businesses and that it has. There was a time when you could walk up and down the street out here and pass people. You know, everybody went over to Spurge's, everybody went to the hardware. There was 3 grocery stores you could go to. There was even a doctor's office people would run in and out
I
of.
understand.
You're never gonna get that back
No.
because of Walmart.
We're a little community between
Oh,
Dover
yeah.
and Philly and Canton and Massachusetts.
We don't have no highways running through here that amount to anything. And I
If
understand
our
that.
business district was on 212 or 93, then that would be great, but we're
This
never
used to
gonna
be,
have
this
that.
used to be Route 21 too.
No, we have Route 212, yeah. Park it.
21 too.
21
Years
too?
before.
Oh, yeah?
Years before, yeah.
Well, I remember when I was a little kid, you'd get mowed down out here because there was nonstop traffic.
After they built the bridge, it
Yeah,
changed.
it was gone.
We still get paid to do the street so much. I can't remember what the percentage is because it was at one time a state highway.
But I mean, the village will, I mean, in itself, it can't ever go back to being what it was. But things have changed as far as Walmart and that goes, because people going to Amazon.
Well, then we're still not gonna come downtown.
Right.
And
Small businesses all across America have been hurt. But it's a sign of the times that
I'd love
things
to
change.
see all these buildings full of
Sure.
businesses.
Hey, I hope other people go ahead and do it, whatever they can do.
Yeah, anything that they can improve their home, you know, improve the looks of the neighborhood and everything, yeah. That's a win-win, I
And
think.
besides that, the county's gonna benefit when they redo the property. They do it all the time.
oh, sure. And how does that benefit us? We get a bigger cut?
Yes, no, but we get some of it, that's right. Okay, that's, I don't have nothing else.
All right, we will move on to the visitors speaks. Who's first on there? Mr. Singer?
Yeah, here.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening, Mr. Singer.
I have, of course, been tonight, so I hope you guys are ready for this. You know, I've been complaining for years about my streets down there. I'm not saying all the streets in town are bad, but my streets are dangerous. And when we pay our taxes, correct me if I'm wrong, we buy our license plates for any vehicle, motorcycle, car, boat, whatever. I believe $10 of that money comes out of what we pay for our license plates. I wanna know why my streets ain't done, and where that money's going. If I have 5 vehicles down there, that's $50 a person, that's, you know, I'd like to see where our last money went when everybody paid their taxes on their license plates, where all that money went, cause my streets ain't getting done. And that's only what it's for. Is those tax dollars, or those license plate dollars.
It takes care of the people that does the work, the product, which is blacktop, that's what it pays for.
Well,
I
how
can't
come,
think-
how come there ain't no money down? How come there ain't no money being on my end of town?
You were done last year.
What was? What was done?
They
Fred?
blacktopped the alley.
Blacktop
Yeah, they
or
patched
through
it.
pea gravel?
They patched the
I know what tar them guys do, they're very polite about what
That's
they
right.
deal with. I'm not knocking these
Where do you
guys.
get pea gravel there?
Huh?
What do you say about pea
Well,
gravel?
come down, I'll show you. I mean.
The pea gravel ain't nothing from winter time when we put something in the alley to do away with the ice.
What do you think people put on these holes? Where do you think that comes from? When the rain comes down my alley, it just washes all away. Everything you guys packed up, it just washes away.
And the neighbor called me and said you squirted it all over on me, which I don't
I
care.
don't believe that, Franny.
I don't care.
Tell them to call me. I'll talk to them.
Debbie will generate you a list of where that money gets spent.
Okay, that'd be fine. I appreciate it. I just want it's dangerous. It's dangerous down there. I'm serious. You guys come down there, it's dangerous. And I'm not blaming the workers or anybody else, but that end town needs some attention, seriously. I've been there almost 20 years and nobody's ever done the road right because they can't, you know? I don't know the reason why, but I don't blame them, I blame the city.
Are you talking street or the alley now? Which one are you talking about?
Anyone you want, Franny, walk around the block.
Well, you say
Hell, there's
street, that's-
ditches down there you can break your ankle in.
All right, what's your next
Alright,
point there, Mr. Chairman?
Up here, I got questions up here at the railroad crossings, at the stop signs. You know, you guys want tax dollars, and there's policemen sitting there all the time, not all the time, quite often, controlling those stop signs. I wanna know if you guys have jurisdiction over that railroad property, cause I don't think you do.
We do.
Why would we have, we
We
have
got it.
jurisdiction over the,
No, you don't. You don't have no
So many feet, right?
jurisdiction over what goes on that railroad.
right, so many.
It's railroad police. Look it up, Franny.
If somebody don't stop at the stop sign, we got.
It's not your stop sign, it's a railroad.
It don't make no difference.
Yes,
It's
it
still in our
does.
town, and we
See?
still control the stop sign.
You think I come up here without knowing that before I ask you that
Okay,
question?
go ahead, I want you to. I'm just saying my part.
Okay, I wanted to just mention something. I've been definitely studying the Constitution, and I think a lot of you things you guys do are wrong. And one simple thing that I found out is when you guys call Ohio revised codes, you know why they're not called laws? Because they're not laws, they're codes. Okay, you can make that, that's why they're not called Ohio revised law. It's Ohio revised code. Constitution is law. Okay, that's just another thing. And then, and I'd like to commend Don Lambert for doing quite a bit around the community lately. He's really done a lot of things that I've been complaining about for years since the last mayor, and that was fire hydrant leaks. Everybody says, no, nothing goes through, you don't pay for nothing that don't go through your meter. Well, that's bull crap. Cause I've seen $1,200 utility bills in this town. I've seen $700 utility bills. Okay, now, on this little note that you guys sent out, it says, producing water could be, expensive endeavor, water loss costs, water department money, and the cost of the expense is passed on to you, the customer. Okay, so now that the last 7 years, I mean, like I said, Mr. Lambert, he got on it, he fixed our fire hydrant. I wanna know who paid for all that water that was neglectedly leaking for the last 15 years I've
We all
been here.
did. Everybody did.
Well, how can it be on my utility bill if it don't go through my meter?
That's your water cost adjustment. That's where your water cost adjustment came in.
So you guys let fire hydrant leak for 5-10 years, and it's at the cost of the residents.
We had it down pretty good
Yes.
10 years ago. It just happened, over time, they started leaking. By the time Donnie come in here, somebody did their job right, and Donnie started taking a look, and our water costs for water was too much. So he started getting it down a little bit at a time.
Okay, well, what I'm saying is, you guys had to know that the water was leaking, and you just kept telling me for years that you're not getting charged for that unless it goes through your meter. Well, that's not true. Somehow we were getting billed for, I believe, 7 leaking fire hydrants. Okay, so hopefully now we'll have some progress.
I think we already have had progress.
Okay, so why did nobody listen back then when I said that? Years
Gary,
ago.
I can't answer that. I don't know. I wasn't here. I don't know. I can't answer.
We listened.
a utility, someone that pays the utility bill, I wonder what happened too. Maybe they didn't have the money to fix it. I don't know. I would be speculating if I
Well, you know, all I'm
answered it all.
saying is, you know, I've been doing this since more than a lot of you people have. And I know many people come in here complaining, and all they say is, oh, you got a leak. You know, you got a leak, or you got a leak. Well, they're coming here with $700 utility bills. Something's obviously wrong. Well,
If it-
Mr. Lambert found it. So we shouldn't have to pay for all that lost water. It's just negligence. That's not our fault.
Water cost adjustment wouldn't make it go to $700.
Well,
No.
No, because that's just a little bit.
spread it out. I'm
Well,
just
everybody
saying.
would pay the same amount.
I'm just saying. That was ridiculous. And I really do thank Mr. Lambert for actually opening his eyes and realizing that we got leaks here.
As do we.
And hopefully
He made it
that
a
helps.
priority
But I
and,
think the city owes us money, cause that's ridiculous.
We had it down.
Nobody did nothing. Nobody would do nothing. $1,200 utility bill.
All right.
They
What's,
did
you
keep
have
track
another
of it.
one?
I would just like to give Mr. Lambert credit for what he's done
Duly
because
noted.
I've been fighting that for a long time. So does anybody know who has jurisdiction over the stop signs?
I think the village does.
Well, I've talked to railroaders that said they have no problem, no business on that property.
I'm
But,
not saying on the property, if they witness a violation of a village ordinance, like running a stop sign, then they have the authority to enforce the village ordinance.
it's not on your property.
Neither's 21 and 93. Isn't
Yeah,
that
state-
technically state routes?
It's your property, it's in your town. That's railroad property. If you get hurt on that property, you don't sue the town, you sue the railroad.
Is it within the municipal limits of?
It's
Yeah.
right up the street.
That's in the city.
Then it's the police department.
Okay,
Hey Gary, I can kind of help answer that one for you a little bit. So, those stop signs up there, we've stopped people there.
yeah.
I'm on
Well,
record.
people's asked me, that's why.
As far as I know, no one's been cited there yet. However, if I would have my officer cite them if they had a violation there, and then we'd let the judge decide that. He would know better than we would, and if it's wrong, then we'll fix it.
Well, shouldn't we know that before we do that?
No, I think we're.
So somebody has to take off work and go to court to see if they're guilty of something?
From what I've read up on, I think we're okay, Gary.
Okay, I'll take your word for that.
Thank you.
Another question is, I'm all for the railroad, for the fire department, I am. I'd like to do a lot more for the fire department. But if I'm correct, in 1999, we had a fire levy, correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, that fire levy's still going, correct?
It's continuous.
Continuous.
Yes, it's
That's
continuous.
approximately $40,000 to $50,000 a year. Can I see where that money's gone, however far back you go? Because now, you guys are starting a new tax levy for the fire department, which I support. But I don't support one levy on top of another levy.
Oh, they're not gonna mess with the continuous levy. This one will have to go on top of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
The
Bill
continue,
said.
that's $40,000 a year plus another levy.
Right.
So how do you do that?
I wish the fire department.
You got two levies for the same fire department?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So one for $40,000, which is continuous, and how much is this next levy supposed to cost us?
It'll bring in $32,000, a little over $32,000 each year for 5 years.
For 5 years, and that's probably what, how much is that a person per year?
It depends on your house.
On
You
your
have to,
home.
you have to know what your value of your home is.
Okay, so we got a $40,000 to $50,000 tax levy that is continuous from 1999 till now, and now we're going to ask for another tax levy, okay? And, do we know what that's going for?
The chief will be here next meeting for
No,
sure.
no, don't even put it to the chief, he has
Oh.
enough to do. You
Okay.
come to me and I can give you the detail on where that money was spent every year.
Okay, that's fine.
How
I
many
just
years-
wanna know,
how
I'm
many
just getting
years-
taxed the heck out of
How
around
many
here.
years do you want?
From 99 to now.
99 now, I guess.
Each year we have payroll. That probably comes out of that as well, does it not?
Oh, yeah.
What is that, about
18 to 21,000.
18 to 21,000 of that money is payroll that we pay the fire department people. then
Then
you're
over
looking at all
19
the.
years, everything went
I
up.
mean, you look at all the service that they do on the vehicles,
I
they have to
understand.
take them. I mean, that, you know, you buy a new piece of equipment, it's $500,000 before you've even,
And the state
Yeah.
puts new rules on you all the time too, so
the
you gotta
state
have
puts
this, you
rules
gotta
on,
have
we've had to
that.
redo fire hose, we've had, it's, but I'm
Sounds
sure
like
Deb
that.
can find it because I know she knows.
Well, I'm just
exactly
curious,
where it was.
because I wanna know how that works, you know?
Sit
I-
down, because you're gonna be
a
really
tax on
surprised.
top of a tax, can there be another tax on top of the two taxes?
We'll see how the second one goes first.
Okay,
Yeah, I will put it on Chief's desk, that's his problem, he makes, what, $1,000 a year? I know. I'll tell you.
So do you.
Last councilman.
So do we.
Last council meeting, I, come up and mentioned the roads down there, and, they're not safe. And I've got property damage to my property from the pea gravel. It just comes right down my road, on everybody's road. It don't run in the road, it runs in your yard, digs ditches, then it runs over my driveway, and then people drive in and it just chips the heck out of my driveway. I just want it stopped. It's like a river coming down through there.
You mean from the heavy rain, Jerry?
Yeah, from any rate. You know, Darwin, I know it's not your fault. I know you guys fight that an awful lot now. It's been at least 17 years, and the road's like this now, and it ain't like this. So it runs right alongside, big ruts in your yard, right over your driveway, and then you got a big pile of gravel there, because it comes all the way down the street. But, I like for somebody, I mean, I know them guys work hard to that, but that thing that needs done right. You know, if you guys want a new police car, you want new vests, you want new everything, but I want my road fixed. And,
The only way you can keep it out of your yard would be curbing.
well, it goes right over my drive though. I mean, it just, you come down and see a car, I'll show it to you, man, you'll know what I'm talking about. But, I mean, I got more, but I think that's good for now. I'd just like for somebody to look at the damage on my property because it's getting worse. It's getting old. I would like to ask the chief if I could get some bicycles down from the police station to donate to some kids around here.
I don't think that'd be an issue. I've got a couple as long as council's okay with that. I'm not sure what they decide.
Don't we have 30 bikes down there or close to it? Huh?
No,
How many? I've been told 30.
how many bikes are down there? There's 3 bikes.
Oh, okay, well, if that's true. I thought you had a council meeting, there's like 30 bikes here somewhere.
There's been a,
Hazel was down and checked, there are 3 bikes.
okay, there's 3 bucks left.
3? Okay, well, that's good. Somebody's getting to them, correct? Well, that's good. All right, that's it. Thank you.
We were gonna try to do something with them at the fire.
Yeah, that'd be nice to know the kids, just donate them.
Yeah, exactly. All right, thank you, Mr. Singer.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Savage, do you have something you'd like to
Yeah.
speak with us about tonight?
Yeah, I was, on vacation and something was eating my rear end pretty bad. So, it's about this high grass. I wanna know why it gets out of control and then it 5 times as hard to go mow the son of a gun. It's 2 years in a row this crap's been like that and I hope it don't happen again.
I think we probably needed to get more proactive from the police department at the beginning. I'm not gonna blame it all on them, but I think maybe we could have done a little better of a job getting the letters out, the citations out. Do you agree or disagree with me on that, Chief?
So the problem we run into is with the banks, and when it's in foreclosure, and trying to find who is responsible for that property is where we run into the problems. Now, some of these, they say for example, sorry, you stopped mowing your grass, and you live there.
Yeah.
We know where you are, we know how to find you. Our problem is trying to find some of these owners because they switch banks so often. That one is in foreclosure, so by the time we nail down whose it is and send it out, yes, we could probably be a little quicker. If we notice the house is empty in January, we could probably send it out, but they're not in violation in January. But we could try to send it out, but by the time we find.
Did you
it gets
change
in-
your ordinance 2 inches?
It's 8 inches, but we have to notify them. In the ordinance, it says you have to notify the owner, so when we got the.
Because I'll tell you, I'm not putting up with that crap next year.
Okay.
Just
So-
tell you that. I'll go mow it myself.
So what we could do is we could also hire a company to come in and do that for us and just put it on tax, that way we're not beating up the town's equipment. if that'll help you.
There again, though, you're gonna let it get that high, they're gonna charge you out the rear end.
I know there's properties that we, 123 Redwood, the gray house that just sold, we got on them right away. They were able to get it, one on 4th Avenue. We were able to find the owner right away on that, or across from Hazel, and that was mowed within a couple weeks of being out of violation. It's just some of these properties, we do struggle to
Just
get
telling you, I'm
the
not gonna tear
owners.
the
Oh,
crap
I don't
out of
blame
this
you.
stuff next year.
I don't blame you at all.
So, I'll go do it on my own. If I get my ass, or my hind end canned, I get canned.
We
But
will
I'm
try-
not gonna allow it.
We will try to put forth more of an effort next year to get it at an earlier state. And I think some of it had to do with, we had some change in people at the police department, and that particular job got passed on to somebody else, and you know, they don't work full-time, so they try to do it a couple hours here and a couple hours there, and I think we just need to maybe make it a little more of a priority than we have in the last couple of years.
We'll try to
And I agree
organize that for
100%
you.
with what you're saying, Rick. Yes.
Oh, I
That-
agree too. It's just like it's getting higher and higher, and I'm trying to make contact with them. It's just like, but I would say maybe next year, once we notice it's at the 8 inches, we go in there and just get it mowed until we can find them. That way, it's taken care of. If we've got to eat the cost, then
Well, and Debbie's working, was just talking to Steven about how to get to where we can attach that cost.
Yeah.
So once we get that worked out, we can, I mean, if, you know, if it goes 3 weeks and nobody's mowed it, let's get it mowed.
would it be something that's worth us putting something to where once we notice the grass is high, we mow it and kind of could we soft bill them for it? I mean, we're not following ordinance, we could at least soft bill them for the first one until we can get find the proper owner of it.
We're not gonna soft bill anybody, we're gonna put it on their taxes.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do. And I believe that's what the ordinance says. If you look at the ordinance and all the backup to it,
I have to
that's
notify.
why I asked for the pictures, because you were supposed to bring in pictures to show council, to them to tell you what to do, whether to hire or have us do it, and none of that was followed, so.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn the pictures, which were actually very good, in with my paperwork to Stark County. So they've got a backup to why I'm
So
billing them.
why you're doing it. Okay, so I'll try to, next year I'll try to get on them sooner. Like I said, it is hard for us to get the banks, but I'll at least let you guys know. I know we have to notify the owner before we go and mow them, but I'll try to bring you guys in the loop a lot sooner. I'll look back at my records and see how long we've been working on that.
The bad thing is we need to make sure we're legal when we send somebody on the property, that's the main thing.
Are we limited to what, say we farmed it out to another company? Are we limited to how much money that they can be charged for mowing that grass and their income, or their property taxes assessed?
I think the thing states how much per hour, per person,
Yeah,
and per
it is.
piece of equipment, and I think it's laid out in there how much.
So if we hired anybody, they'd have to give them all the
Okay.
information what we're gonna pay for it. I don't blame them for not, actually not doing it as bad as what that was. That was
Well, I'm
bad.
just saying, instead of going through this every year, why don't we just set up a procedure to do it? Somebody's not mowing their yard, call the cop people.
I thought you put the procedure in 2 years ago.
Well, we put
We
in
did.
a procedure.
We just need to,
Well, let's get it tweaked.
we need to, yes, that's a good way of saying it. We need to get make it a little more of a priority, I think.
Okay, I got a couple other things.
Okay?
I'm sure Donnie has told you about the streets needing, the streets are falling apart, so I'm gonna tell you out in public, so you're all together, I've told, I don't know how many Donnie has told you, something needs to be done, like Gary said. Things need to do, 28 years since anything's been done as a paving project, so,
1976.
no, since I've got here.
Oh. I had everything blacktopped.
Yeah, but
Before
since
years I was on.
28 years ago is when they done the alleys and done everything. So, equipment's
But-
getting old.
Where do you want us to get that money? I mean, I'm serious.
Well, I don't know, I'm just informing you that
Yeah.
things need to be done, we're patching and cobbing together the best we can, but when you lose them, you're gonna lose them.
And our tax base is not
I
there since
understand
the
that
school
too.
left and there are empty houses, so people are not paying taxes. There's a lot of people that don't work that aren't paying,
Well,
so,
in the state of Ohio, took how many thousands of dollars a year away
Well,
from
yeah.
$60,000, $80,000 a year?
yeah, not just John Kasich and.
But, I mean, yeah, it is, it's something we have to, we gotta start.
We
coming
are
up
gonna
with a
get more
plan.
money on the gasoline tax. As of yesterday or today, it just went up.
Yes.
18 cents or 19 for diesel, 10
Yeah.
cents for regular gas.
But we don't get that whole amount.
No, no. You get it for-
Make people understand that whole amount does not
Yeah.
come to the village. We get a little
That goes
piece
to
of
the
it.
city.
Your equipment's old, your backhoe's an 82, your roller's a 52, your street sweeper, which is broke now, is an 82, and your leaf machine's a 91. So,
It's definitely something we've got to start putting on our radar.
the
Before it's too
sweeper's
late.
hard to get parts. When I get back from vacation, I'll welder and got some things to adjust on the, if you can adjust it anymore. We'll get another sweeping or two before the festival, but can't guarantee anything after.
Hey, Tyler, that was, May 12th when we started on that property, so we do need to get a little sooner on that.
Well, I'm not gonna talk anymore on it because it yanks me off, so
Okay.
that's a pleasant way that I can put it,
Not a problem.
without getting my rear end kicked out of here.
Don't bother.
Oh, what the heck else? Yard sales, when are they? Did you set-
August 16th, 17th.
You did set a date for that?
Yeah, we did that a month ago, I think it was.
Oh, I didn't see it.
I'll tell you one thing, I like the flags being up.
Write it down.
Too bad we can't afford them the whole year. I like the flags being up all on Main Street.
We just 2 days, Don, 16th and 17th?
Yep, that's what
Yeah.
the guy said,
Five,
16,
Saturday.
17.
15th and 16th.
Yeah.
16,
17.
15th and 16th. It's right in the center.
Here,
Well, 16th
here, Rick,
and
there's a
17th, yeah.
post-it note right on there.
Yeah.
You're telling me the wrong.
No, 16th and 17th.
John,
Gotcha.
stop helping.
August, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, good stuff.
What we need a nice levy for the streets. But it would be the hardest thing probably to ever get it passed.
No kidding. That goes without saying.
And you do realize all employees help all other departments, so if things.
We can talk to the boss.
You got a lot of rain stuff, the patching we're way behind, plus your help's getting older than hell, so. I don't know what to tell you.
Hell, you look young.
No, don't feel young. And since I'm there, I'd like to put in for a $3 an hour raise for all street department employees, full-time and part-time. So, I'm gonna leave on that note. You guys have a good evening. Thanks for your time.
You bet. We'll see you, Rick. Chief Dyke, you have anything for us tonight?
Just on the properties, I'll get, like I said, that May 12th, we're probably mowing for about a month, so it's, I would say I definitely could probably start it a little sooner once we start noticing it higher. But other than that, I understand his point with the equipment, but I would say we look at doing with the landscaping company. I've got several business cards, people that would be willing to come in and do it. But that's up to you guys, however you wanna do it. I'll just give the notices. But on my end, I'll at least try to get them done sooner.
Very good.
Other than that,
You all had a printout from the fire department? You all noticed that? Okay. Did he want us to read these?
Yeah, you can, I've got a
Okay.
copy, I can put it in
Okay.
minutes.
Chief Anderson, due to work schedule, was unable to be here this evening. He's hoping to make the next meeting. They've run 119 calls to date. Last year, by this date, they had 137, so they're a little bit behind. We got turned down for the fire marshal grant for the 20 marked pagers. We also got turned down for the Reeves Foundation grant for 20 marked pagers. We're still being considered for the 2018 FEMA grant, which is 16 sets of fire gear. The power cots and load system are installed, and they're working great. He needs to get both squads and the grass unit serviced, oil change, check brakes, etc. He says last year we used Ziegler Tire for this. Is that something you need us, council, to grant him permission tonight for?
Yeah, I would, if you could do it tonight, that way, if you They've got 17,000 in there right now, but they really need to get those trucks serviced.
I'll make a motion for the grass units. Check brakes. Last year, we going to Ziegler, same place?
I would assume
Okay.
it's 2 squads in the grass unit.
I'll second.
Bennett,
Yes.
Fair,
Yes.
Hartman,
Yeah.
Bailey,
Yes.
and Schott.
Yes. And I do appreciate him setting this for us instead of just leaving us hanging.
I do as well. Mr. Lambert, do you have anything for us tonight?
Just the Canton raised that water rate 5% to us.
Yeah.
I found that was it. Other than that, that's all I got.
Didn't they just raise it 8% not too long?
5% in April, they raised it again.
Dang, Chris.
And they wonder why people are leaving Canton. There's a lot of reasons. That's crazy.
They get you by the neck and they just keep squeezing.
Yes, they do.
All right.
And the problem is,
Mr.
we can't go anywhere else to
No.
try to get water. They got us.
Not at this point in time.
No, your other options would be build a water plant or go to another supplier, and the other supplier, you're gonna have to spend millions of dollars for piping,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna be in the same situation you're in now.
Can I ask a question?
As long as it ain't a very long one.
Where are we at on the water contract that we started a year ago?
The water contract was under a memorandum of understanding for a 1-year period, they would hold the rates constant. That was through whenever the most recent increase came out.
Which is.
Which was within like a month after the memorandum of understanding.
So there's no actual water contract with Beach City right now?
There's a water contract by.
It's old.
I'm sorry?
Is it old, the old
Yeah,
one?
yeah, the one before dated back many years, but it was for a long period of time. So the contract that exists now is by custom. It could be renegotiated. The city had a water rate study done the last time that we'd met with them, and they were having it done. And I think there was suspicion that a water rate study, typically they don't, just like the rate studies that have been done for the village, they usually don't come out and say, you're in great shape, you can lower the rates. When you do the rate study, it gives, you know, the background information for what costs need to be raised for it. But they're raising it across the board for out-of-city customers, and I was able to find the rates, I think they're raising them in-city as well. So they're passing the rate study cost increases along to their customers.
I think the last contract
So,
was for 20 years.
I think you're right.
so we actually pay 150% more than Canton does, because we're out of town rates. It just went up another 5%. Now, what do we have to look forward to? I mean, does it go up every quarter, every half, or?
Unfortunately, we don't have any control over that.
Well, sure you do.
Okay, where are you gonna get water at?
Well, I'm not talking about water, I'm talking about knowing what the contract's gonna be in the
Oh,
future.
And like I said, the contract could be renegotiated. My guess, and we could open that up immediately, but they're going to build their water rate study findings into that contract.
Yeah, we were rebuilding all their water and plumbing up there too, so yeah, I bet that fits right in.
I'm saying they'll take that rate study that says you need to increase it 5% this year, 5% next year, and when you negotiate, they're gonna build their water rate increases into the contract.
So my question is, how much of the contract do we know? All we know now is we got an old contract that is obsolete, basically, and they just started raising our utilities again. What do we have to look forward to? Do we have a new water contract with Canton? Or is it okay for them to raise it up to whatever they want when they want?
They're gonna base the increases off the water rate study. And if the council wanted to renegotiate to see if you can do better than whatever's in the water rate study, that's a possibility.
Well, did they do that for this raise?
They do,
Negotiate it.
they just sent notice.
Okay, so that's what they're gonna do in the future too.
Right, that's what they always.
So they could be 12% next quarter.
Well, yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, the prior contract, I don't think prohibited them. They were allowed to pass those cost increases that they had back onto the village. So even under the contract that existed then, it wasn't going to give you certainty that they don't raise it. In fact, if they had encountered a cost increase on their end, they would pass it along, and that's what they were permitted to do under the contract. And frankly, I think that's how most, like, shared services or shared utilities, that's how the contracts are read.
I've always seen contracts where it'll give you a quarterly raise, you know, every 4 months, it's gonna go up 5%, it's gonna go up 7%, it's gonna go up 8.5%, and we don't have that now.
No, because they don't have any idea, Canton does.
Yeah, and
They
if
don't
you,
know what's gonna be.
and if you're talking about just a general increase, then I would agree with you. If you're talking about their ability to pass increased cost of the service onto their customers, they're always going to do that. That's the disadvantage that we're at because we're.
Okay, I'm not arguing, but shouldn't they have a contract with us for getting water, instead of just saying this is the way it's gonna be? Don't they have to have a contract, say, hey, you can't go over this limit, because this is what our contract says? But no, we don't have a contract, so if they wanna give us 5% and said they need more money, how they're gonna raise it up to 8 or 9%?
Yeah, and their increases by law, first of all, there is a contract. The custom and the prior existing contract
It's still in effect.
continue, yeah, the terms of that create the custom that continues. And the increases that they impose, the law requires that they be, and I won't think of the exact phrase because I always forget it, but it's uniform and equitable, it's language like that. So they couldn't say, we're going to target Beach City because, we've got them in a position, but East Canton, we don't. So when they pass those, they have to pass them in a uniform manner. That's why their rates show that there's an outside city charge. So it doesn't matter who you are, you're not getting treated differently. The idea that you'd go in with the contract, just like they can't impose a higher rate on us than somebody else, I don't think you'd sit down at a bargaining table with them and have them deviate from what they're charging all of their other outside city customers just to try to make Beach City happy. Do you know what I mean? So the value of the contract isn't going to be there when they set the rate, and the rate has to apply uniformly to all of their outside city customers. You know, they're not going to, let's say, take 20% off for this village because they want that contract. They're gonna have every other outside city customer of theirs coming to their door saying, well, we want that. And then they have to change the rate for their entire customer base.
Well, I'm not saying you're wrong, but it don't make sense to me. If I'm gonna buy water for somebody for the next 5 years, I wanna know what it's gonna be. I mean, instead of just saying we need more money, we're gonna raise it again.
I think that's every utility provider wants to create some kind of certainty in just like the village wants to create certainty in what their costs are, but it's.
Well, you know, if they would've checked their water, hydrants years ago, we probably wouldn't have so many mad people around here. But, you know, thanks to Mr. Lambert, it's been done, but, as far as not having a water contract, I mean, I just don't understand.
He just told you we have a contract, Gary.
Well, then tell me what it's gonna be next quarter.
They don't tell us that.
You have to have that in a contract then.
The contract is, if you're talking about the rates, they're gonna take the outside city rate, that by statute, that has to be uniform. So they can't give you a better deal or a worse deal than they're giving others, nor would they do that, because then everybody's going to want the lower
I
rate.
understand that. So everybody outside of Canton pays 150% more.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now that we fixed all of our water hydrants, or a lot of them, will our water rates go down because we're not using that much Canton water now?
Our water rates? No. Our water usage? Yes.
Okay,
The
so,
water cost adjustment is down.
so the less water that we lose, it costing us less.
Yes.
So, over the years, them fire hydrants was costing people $700 utility bills.
No.
Where are those coming from?
I don't,
Not
probably
paying
not
their
paying the
bills.
bill.
Not paying their
No.
Alright. Well,
I've
Alright,
got one question for Mr. Singer.
sure.
Do you mind if I start with like your information for your fire and go backwards, start.
No, I don't care how you do it, man. I just wanna know where it goes. or
Okay,
how-
because-
And the same way with the license plates.
I've got it most current on the computer, and I'll have to actually go to
That's
Facebook
fine.
and start digging.
That's fine.
And maybe
I-
when you see it, you'll see it's repetitive every year.
Yeah, I just
You may
wanted-
not want from 99 forward.
I was told that the quality of water in Canton is a lot better than the quality of water that they sell out of Canton. Is that true? I haven't been in Canton and drank water for a long time.
I don't think it'd be true. Now, they do have their own wells in Canton, maybe 2 or 3 of them, before they come down here and built this one out here. But it all runs in together for everything.
Well, I kinda thought the same thing. I thought you'd have to have 2 water treatment plants then. One for the, because they said that the people of Canton, if they were drinking the water they're shoving off on us here, there'd be a riot up there. Like I said,
It's
I
gotta be
haven't,
the same
I haven't
water.
drank water in Canton.
I could see there would be some tape.
Different pipes, I
Because
mean,
there are
that
other
might
wells
change
that they
some.
had up there. They had these water plants up there before they built this one out here. But we're getting all our water from this one, and it has to meet, they're probably tested every day like we have to test it. To look at the water. So I wouldn't think there'd be anything different. Matter of fact, our water they got here was better than what Canton had with their wells. So I don't see that.
Do you have anything else for us, Mr. Solicitor?
No, I don't, thank you.
There's nothing else to go over. I am going to adjourn the meeting.